Number 15, Mark Radke. Number 17, Caden Parent. Number 18, Aiden Lidke. Number 22, Rylan Dickinson. Number 23, Blake Sutherland. Number 25, Anders Gilbertson. And number 26, Jaeger Gamshin. Blaine is coached by Alex Johnson. Please rise and remove your hats for our national anthem.
Inside Bengals Stadium here in Blaine, as we have a boys lacrosse cat clash for you tonight between the SLP Coon Rapids Catbirds and the Blaine Bengals. Good evening, everyone. I'm Bill Hupp alongside my broadcast partner Blythe Whaley. And Blythe, this is a big game for Blaine, the last home game for a lot of these seniors, and an opportunity to really build some momentum heading into section play.
Yeah, it's absolutely what they need tonight to get that win, because it's going to be that momentum as they head into playoffs. They're trying to look for that home game in playoffs, and it's kind of getting down to the must-win type of this time of the season.
Absolutely. SLP Coon Rapids just 2 wins on the season, and they will look to one of their co-captains, Henry Leff, to start things off. 14 goals and 14 assists for Leff on the season. He is really the leader of this team, bound for Aurora University next year.
Yeah, 19 goals on the season, leading or second in command to almost leading his team. And you think about what that means to have a couple of great scorers. He's surrounded. There's 4 guys in double figures for goals this season, and that helps him get open and find those chances.
Yeah, absolutely. He's the unquestioned leader. And how about Robert Crookshank on the other side for Blaine, the sophomore attackman coming out of nowhere to be one of the main offensive contributors. And Blythe, he's been red hot as of late.
Yeah, it helps bringing that into tonight's matchup, being able to know that, hey, I've been able to find the back of the net, I've been able to help my team, but I think it's going to take a lot of his teammates as well to help him. Only 2 guys on the Bengals in double figures for goals, but it's going to take a team effort, and I think he will be able to help his team tonight as well.
The Catbirds earned a 10-6 victory against Blaine last year. Bengals hoping to exact a little revenge at home. Coming up next on North Metro TV.
North Metro TV News is your source for local stories. Highlighting the issues in your community, we bring you the news that's closer to home. Join us as we explore the stories all around us, every day at 2:30, 6:30, and 10:30.
Back here at Bengals Stadium, Bill Hupp and Blythe Whaley ahead of face-off between the Bengals and the Catbirds. Obviously a combined program, SLP and Coon Rapids. They're wearing the royal blue with the red numerals. Blaine, of course, in the familiar home white navy shorts and the sky blue numbers. As one of the best face-off guys in the state, Michael Hebert gets set to go to work. 99 out of 125 he's won this season, Blaine.
Yeah, so impressive. Definitely a guy you want on your team, and the Bengals certainly glad he's there tonight.
And lacrosse being one of those possession-based sports very often, it's so important that he wins draws for them, as battle for the loose ball right at center field or midfield. Still no control awarded. And Bengals come away with it initially, but it's ultimately the Brady Herzog and SLPCR that controls. And they can't advance it in 10 seconds, so ultimately Dylan Hazelwood getting caught with the ball. Good pressure by Blaine, and the Bengals go to work on the offensive end.
Bill, we talked about in the open just the Bengals seeking some revenge from last season, losing 10-6. But Spring Lake Park and the Coon Rapids, the Panthers, they have had lost some seniors. So you think about what that does to this year and what they're going to have to come out of the gates.
Ethan Burnett has his shot saved by Tommy Scramstad. Two really good goalies in net tonight. Ryland Dickinson, the sophomore, on one side, another sophomore in Tommy Scramstad on the other side for the Catbirds. Battle for the loose ball, for the ground ball, and it goes the way of the Bengals. So now you have to act with a little bit of urgency, and it's in the stick of Russell Theris, who's one of the best ground ball guys on this Bengals team, and Theris gets it in the zone. Gets it in the box, tries to flip it off, but a little too casual, and it goes play on the far side back to the Catbirds.
You look at the matchup between these two last year. In that first quarter, the Panthers able to get 4 goals to the Bengals 1. So you think about what it means to have that momentum from the start, and in this first quarter, we'll see who's able to gain that.
Joey Fort doubled by a couple Bengal defenders. Fort watched out there by Colin Reynolds, the long stick midi. Gets it up top to Henry Leff, who he spotlighted in the open. 19 goals on the season for Leff, 5 in his last game. Those orange shoes out there. Easy to spot against the short stick. Leff gets inside. Pass across on the doorstep, and it's intercepted by Ryland Dickinson. And here's where we see the speed and athleticism of the sophomore Dickinson. There is no one in goal, as we remind you. Dickinson finally gives it off, fortunate to retain possession. Cruikshank weaving between defenders, behind the back goal, and he scores! Robert Cruikshank opens the scoring in spectacular fashion tonight.
What a start for the Bengals at home. Certainly wanting to prove that they are ready to play tonight, and play like that. How could you question it? Wow.
Well, that is a highlight reel goal. Ooh. That would be worthy of Sportsden for sure. No assist on the goal, and it's 1-0 Blaine. Oof, what a beauty from Robert Cruikshank, the sophomore, with his 20th goal of the season. And what a way to score it. That was pretty. False start. So it goes to Blaine, and that's something that having a good face-off guy can do as well, because you kind of get the other face-off specialist to kind of flinch and to jump early. Downhill, gets the shot free, scores! Great shot by Aiden Litke, just his 5th of the season. How about this start from Blaine, Blythe?
This is exactly what the Bengals came here to do. And you think about it, how can they keep this going? How can they continue to flood these goals in while the Panthers have yet to wake up in this game?
So Scramstad has made a save, but he has not stopped the last 2, and it's 2-0 now. And this is where Blaine can get into make-it-take-it mode. Aiden Litke, the junior attacker, getting on the board. Once again, Blaine wins the faceoff. Cruikshank thought about it. He's watched closely by Lamari Brown, beg your pardon. Lamari Brown, the freshman running back sensation. Coming from X, good check from behind to knock it free. Bengals, however, able to recover through Noah Fish. Fish down the alley, gets a step, draws the slide, missed the net on the shot. Oh, no, they're saying that was actually... Nope, it remains with the Bengals. 8:20 to go first quarter, 2-0 Blaine.
I know you touched on possession, but the Bengals having a good amount of it early, and especially now up by 2 goals. If they can continue to keep possession, it's going to be difficult for the Panthers.
Litke draws the slide, but gets it off for number 5, Alex Crane. Crane fakes a pass, Gets inside, sidearm shot. Scramstead make the save. Actually, that may have hit the post. It caromed out so far. I have to imagine that hit the post, but boy, what a good look at that as we see the highlight here, the replay. And you see Crane just gets a step, no slide, comes in time, and then, yeah, sure enough, I think that hit off the right post. Back to action here, they missed the net. And SLPCR hustles to it, so they're closest to it, and it turns back over to the Catbirds.
Yep, sometimes that's the best defender, is those balls that will not be able to make it in.
Well, it just shows how much hustle and positioning pays off in this sport. Nolan Hazelwood scoops it up. And now we have got a whistle offside, so it's going to be our first penalty of the game. And it's going to be on number 24 for SLPCR, Joey Ford.
That's going to be tough, already down a couple of goals, and now to have this against you.
Beg your pardon, it's going to be actually Lamari Brown who takes a knee. So the first EMO of the game goes the way of Blaine, and it's sometimes hard when you're subbing on the fly like that, right? To make sure all your guys are,
penalty, number 45,
are on side. So
30 seconds.
Brown will serve the 30-second penalty as Blaine has a chance to make it 3-0.
I think while you've stunned the Panthers, you want to take advantage of this. They're on their heels.
Crookshank low unloads, and Scramstad makes the save. Oh, absolutely. You'd love to make it 3 with the extra man, but right now, just trying to kill off some precious seconds, and the penalty will release. Meanwhile, SLPCR has had all kinds of problems even just getting into their offensive sets. Whistle, push with possession, goes back to Blaine. It's been all Bengals so far, Blaine.
And it helps them at home. They certainly on paper having a couple.
Caleb Schwark, and again, another save by Scramstad. He's made 3 saves already. Bengals back out the attack. Crookshank will open the scoring just 2 minutes and 36 seconds in. He attacks downhill. Bounce shot. Scramstad makes the save. Scramstad's got 4 saves, and we're not even barely halfway through the first quarter.
He's going to have to be on his A game to keep his team in it. Have the opportunity to make a comeback.
SLPCR sitting in 10th out of the 12-team NWSC. And, of course, Blaine sitting in 9th. So just one as Leff leaves behind Caden Parent. And this is who you want. Henry Leff, their co-captain, gets all the way to the net. Lefty shot, and he missed it, but he's closest to it. So it'll stay with the blue and red. And you can see him out there. He does look like the most confident Catbird. Hazelwood, outed by the long pole in Colin Reynolds. Battles for ground balls here in the early going. Tries to feed in front, looking for big Ryan Hexum on the doorstep, and the push keeps the ball with SLPCR. Stops the clock with just inside 5 minutes to go in the first quarter. As you look at Rylan Dickinson's numbers, 4 and 5, just about 8 goals a game, but an impressive 61.2 save percentage.
I'll be glad to have him back for another season.
Yep. Leff, 2 seasons if he stays for his junior and senior year. Fed out front. Who's going to get to this loose ball at midfield? Good team defense, and they recover it. Now you need some good offensive zone time. Blaine, really active sticks, Blythe. How many ground balls have we seen already tonight?
Too many. Too many.
Too many to count, yeah. Not without a statistician up in the booth. Ball chucked into the opposing box, scooped up first by the Bengals, and now they'll try to reset things on offense with Mark Radke. Opportunity attacking downhill. Igor Gonshin for Radke. Near side Litke's already got a goal tonight. Tried to wind up and let one go, but a good job closing down by number 9, Gavin Christensen. Downhill, there's a shot, and that gun goes wide. Parent, who's been, or Radke rather, 9 goals and 4 assists. Scramstad has been busy in this first quarter. Beautiful move in front by Crane, but Scramstad is there to deny him. 5 saves now. Clearance goes out of bounds though, so goes right back to Blaine. Parent to re-enter for the Bengals. Power Cradle with that blue stick. Back for Litke.
And the Bengals using some precious clock as it's ticking off.
Radke takes the short stick, moves middle. For Litke, and his shot is saved again by Scramstad.
Yeah, Scramstad doing a good job staying positive in this game, having those 2 goals against him early on. It's got to be tough, but you have to muster it and help his team get back.
Hazelwood, big attackman, backs things out. Trying to space everything as he hits Leff coming from the box. Leff has at times been a attackman this year, but he's seems to be playing more midfield these days as he tries to settle things down. Now they'll invert him and take him behind to X. Watched by number 25, Anders Gilbertson. Big check delivered, and again the active sticks of Blaine lead to a turnover. Gilbertson in the open field, de-wanded from behind. Each team taking turns with big hits.
That's exactly what the Panthers needed to do. They felt that momentum building by the Bengals, but able to shut it down.
Timeout for Blaine, and this is what you see in lacrosse, right? A lot of times teams will take timeouts just to retain possession, unlike in other sports. So they did that right now to retain possession. As you see this D1 from behind, what hustle to just knock the stick free by Ethan Ossie. Great job by our crew. You can hear just the noise of everything, how hectic it sounds. Field level, I can tell you, it can be very hectic when things are scrambled like that. It's obviously a very energetic and sort of chaotic game.
Yeah,
I can see Orono being good at lacrosse.
Yeah,
it seems like a sport they'd be good at.
I mean, it's crazy because you think about too, when you see the hustle like that coming from behind, it's like obviously the mentality of just not giving up. Of course, you're on offense, you've had your team just have the ball, and now you're trying to track back and just get it back like right away. And I think there's some guys who don't portray that quality, and you see that. You see them kind of hang their head for that second that lets the other team get off on that break. But when you're able to do exactly what he did and just attack right away and get that ball back, I mean, that was huge for his team to be able to slow the Bengals down and be able to get back.
Yeah, I mean, just great job, because a lot of times those transition opportunities can lead to goals. As you take a look at Ian Pollard talking to his troops. Alex Johnson, the head coach on the other side for Blaine in his second season, the former Centennial assistant coach.
And you can't really afford to go down by anymore. I mean, already down by 2, it's tough to think about what that can look like, even just deflating for the remainder of your teammates. Just how do you make sure you guys stay in it, keep it close, even though this game obviously has a lot of swings. You can see teams all of a sudden start to pour them in.
Yeah, no question about it, and it can get away from you in a hurry. So Caden Parent will re-enter play for us here with just about a minute and a half left. Blaine would love to tack on another goal before the second quarter. Watched by the long pole. Parent tries to force it. And a nice job to knock it free by SLPCR. Great job by Jack Smolik, the sophomore defender right there. Catbirds need to do something more. They haven't even registered a shot on net in the first quarter. That's how good the defensive effort has been. And the loose ball will be scooped up here by Anders Gilbertson. Inside a minute to go, first quarter. Nice move by Radke to get free. And again, Blaine with 45 seconds with which to work. Plenty of time as they feed back out on high for Burnett. Attacking downhill with a step bounce shot. Good save. Caleb Schwark. Another stop for Skramstad. 7th save unofficially of the first quarter. And he has made all kinds of saves. That one was your sort of classic hard step to knock it free. Feeding out front, looking for Crookshank. It'll go out of bounds, so Burnett hustles off the field as SLPCR tries to make something happen with 21 seconds left. Now this is their transition attack. Hazelwood holding. Lowers his shoulder. Blaine trying to double the ball. He comes out on high, kind of a wraparound attempt, missed the net. And it goes out of play with 4.5 seconds left. There's a shot at the end. It was always going wide by Herzog. And so the first quarter comes to an end. Bengals strike twice in the opening quarter here at home, and after 1 quarter of play, they lead it 2-0 over SLP and Coon Rapids.
Worried about your friend, but don't know how to reach out?
You could say, how are you, or get a fake tattoo. You can ask with an app if it works for you. You could chat with them in VR, it's so good. If you think you should check in, yeah, you should. Whatever gets you talking.
Reach out to a friend about their mental health.
Whatever gets you talking.
Learn how you can help at seizetheawkward.org.
Alex Johnson and company have to be pretty happy as they put on a defensive clinic in that first quarter, and goals from Robert Crookshank and Aiden Litke stake the Bengals to a 2-0 lead after 1 quarter of play here at home at Bengals Stadium. Blythe, your thoughts on the first quarter we just witnessed?
Yeah, the Panthers came out and ready to race. I feel like exactly what the Bengals needed to do, just get the momentum, really have SLP Coon Rapids like on their heels, really timid, trying to figure out how to make their offense happen. They're gonna have to weather the storm, and that's kind of gonna be the key to them getting back into it.
Pollard with some things to think about with his troops as that defense has been active. Tommy Skramstad, the goaltender for the Catbirds, 7 saves in that first quarter. Very busy in addition to the other shots he faced that didn't hit the net and the 2 that went in. So 1 hit the post. And Rylan Dickinson, conversely, has had very little to do. No official saves by my count. So we'll see if the Bengals win the ball to start. Aber, one of the best in the state, Michael Aber, he pops it to himself. And just as I say that, they're now 3 of 4 at the face-off. And it's just that simple sometimes as Aber gets it in the box, gets a step, he'll go right to the net, bounce shot and score! Michael Aber takes the face,
Number 7,
attacks the
Michael
goal, and
Aber.
scores within the first 16 seconds of the second quarter here for the Bengals.
Taking care of business. That is what the Bengals are doing. They're ready to show that this quarter is exactly like the first. Waste no time doing it either.
Aber, his, I don't even have his goal numbers here, but impressive from Aber. 57 ground balls now on the season. It's 3-0 Bengals here, early second quarter, but he'll get a well-deserved break after winning the faceoff to himself, taking it down and scoring. And sometimes it's, as the SLPCR gets the ball off the false start, sometimes it's hard to shoot with a stick like that because of the tight pinch nature of the faceoff stick, as Nolan Hazelwood gets rid of it.
That was just Aber's second goal of the season. That's just, you think about how exciting that is at home, and with gonna have to be on the road for the rest of the regular season, feels even better, I'm sure.
Henry left, we highlighted him in the open, and he opens the scoring for the Catbirds early in the second, just taking it himself, dodging down the right alley and beating Ryland Dickinson. The first shot he's faced tonight, and you see him the slide late to react as you see Radke didn't get there in time, and the bounce shot beating Rick Dickinson. And so the Catbirds end a 3-0 run for Blaine. It's now 3-1.
A much needed start for them, at least break into it. Prove to their team that they are able to score tonight. Try to get things rolling.
Aber takes a big shot from behind. No penalty coming. Blaine able to win the face-off anyway. And now the Bengals will try to attack quickly. Parent for Crookshank. Tried to let it loose, but nice job by Lamari Brown to close him down on the far side. The push with possession gives it back to SLPCR. Scramstad's got to be careful. He manages to get rid of it, finding Jack Swade back. He'll go cross field for Brown. And this is where the running back instincts take over for Lamari Brown. Timeout taken by Ian. Well, I thought it was a timeout, but instead offside the call, so it goes back to Ryland Dickinson and the Bengals. Near side Gonshin, or Gilbertson rather. Nice job by Hazelwood to take it away. Hazelwood charging forward, back shot scores. Nolan Hazelwood took it away from Igor Gonshin on the clear. And then, despite Dickinson getting back in the goal, wasn't able to save it. And all of a sudden, it's back to a one-goal game. 2 goals in exactly a minute apart here. And a nice job by Hazelwood. And again, just too long a run to come deal with it.
A much needed answer to that opening goal the Bengals had in this quarter. And you think about what that can do for them going forward. How can they use this? How can they tie it up? And think about what those guys are going to be feeling. How juiced up they're going to be if they can get that tying goal.
Well, Aber again wins the faceoff clean. 5 of 7 tonight are the Bengals. And now Burnett. Blaine offense try to get settled. Attacking downhill, Noah Fish. Michael Aber back out there. He does more than just face off, sometimes plays midfield. He just draws the short stick in Herzog. Good spacing this from the Bengals. Aber will try to attack Herzog. Looks to hit her cutter and Crookshank. And again, the Bengals just seem like they're faster to the ground balls tonight. Schwark. Face off against Herzog. Pass a little too hot to handle, a little high for Crane. And it goes back to Lamari Brown and SLPCR. Brown, a freshman who emerged as one of the best freshman football players in the state. Really talented tailback for this Panthers, Spring Lake Park Panthers football team. Offside, so goes to Henry Leff and SLPCR. I think the more they can have the ball on the stick of Leff, the better for the Catbirds.
Yeah, he's kind of a big defensive set for the Bengals, just making sure that they don't allow them to use that momentum that they just gained, getting 2 quick goals.
Shot from distance misses. Catbirds have it covered. Stops the clock with 8:08 to go before half. 3-2. Between two teams pretty close to each other in the conference standings, but obviously section play kind of the focus of everyone now. And Blaine trying to even their record at 500 and put themselves in position to host a first-round playoff game here. Nice move by Schwark in the open field. Here he comes in transition. Bounces it across, looking for Colin Reynolds. It goes by him and out of bounds. Lights starting to take full effect here at Bengals Stadium on a really kind of smoky and hazy Thursday afternoon. Hazelwood, look how far out the pressure is from the Bengals. Really extending that press very high. Good short stick defense being applied here. Boy, he's absolutely dominating. Great job by Mark Radke, the junior midfielder. Physical on Elijah Bowden. Turns over to the Bengals. And now it's the speedy Russell Theris. He'll take a shot, perhaps ill-advised. No one closest to it. And it will stay with the Bengals, though. Good hustle ultimately by Crane.
The Bengals overall have been doing pretty good with possession, just keeping that ball for longer amounts of time, giving the Catbirds a lot of time to make those plays. When they did have the ball, they made quick plays here in this second quarter, getting those 2 goals, but if they're limited time by the Bengals using it, so much of it, it's going to be tough later down the stretch.
Crane weaving his way away from Brown, but a nice job by Brown to strip it. And here comes the blue and red in transition. Now this is where Blaine's ride is really tough. As you see Caden Parent bothering things. Parent trying to get to the loose ball. Does not have the numerical advantage, but D1's Bowden from behind. And we have our first penalty. I was just about to say, Blythe, we haven't had a penalty in the first quarter and a half, but I think they might get Parent. Or perhaps I spoke too soon. No, it does look like it's going to be Caden Parent who will take a knee.
Really Coon Rapids penalty number 4, holding 30 seconds.
Interesting, they said number 4, but that was Caden Parent is the one that's on a knee.
Correction, Blaine, number 17, hold for 30 seconds.
Yes, and they just corrected themselves. So Caden Parent, a hold for 30 seconds. I'm not sure I quite saw that, but first EMO of the night for SLPCR. But we've just had 2 30-second penalties. In some games I've done, we've had like 4 or 5 penalties a quarter. So relatively cleanly played game so far as we're inside of 6 minutes to go second quarter. Big chance here for the Catbirds as they hope to even the score. Left at X. Feeds up top, or tries to. Blaine defense. Nice job getting it to Hazelwood. Left, tight angle shot, he scores! And he's tied this game at 3. 3 in a row for SLPCR here in the second quarter. And with 5:15 to go, the game is now tied at 3. And Blythe, this is a game of runs, and right now it's the Catbirds' turn.
Yeah, the Bengals certainly going to have to make sure that they don't get too frantic now, having this game get tied up on them. They're going to need to stay settled. Remember what it took for them to get up by those 3 goals, and just think about what they can do to sort things out and to make sure that they get back to the defense that they started this game like as well. But ultimately, gosh, just a great turn of events here for the Catbirds. You think about what this can do for them now, tying this game up, the energy that it might bring them here in the coming minutes.
Ferris gets a touch after they win another faceoff. Henry left with a goal to start things, and then a goal on the EMO, second of the quarter. So 2 goals in the quarter for left. There's a low shot as Burnett tried to get it off, but the whistle stops play, and it turns it back over to SLPCR. He's got all the momentum right now, warding the call on Bowden. So it turns it back over. Good defensive pressure applied by Caleb Schwartz. But yeah, Henry left. 2 goals about 6 minutes apart, and now we've got a flag. Nolan Hazelwood frustrated, talking to the refs. And I'm not sure if we're going to have delay of game on Nolan Hazelwood, I think, is what they scheduled, is what they signaled.
Spring Lake Park, Coon Rapids penalty. Delay of game, 30 seconds, number 13.
So I don't know if Hazelwood was just arguing with the ref about getting onside or something, but he will serve the penalty. And so now a chance for Blaine to get that goal back and do something they haven't done, as you see him sort of talking to the ref. Oh, you know what it was? He wasn't giving him enough space. The ref was telling him to give him enough space like they do have in soccer, right, where you got to give 10 yards. And he wasn't doing it. And so, so they said delay of game. Chance here now for the Bengals. Goes off the stick of Crane and out of play. Catbird's defense really tightened up. And so it'll be in the stick of Lamari Brown. And this, unless they turn it over right here, should be able to kill off the majority of this delay of game penalty that Nolan Hazelwood just took.
That's one of those where they didn't need to necessarily go as fast as they did. They could have worked that around. They had been doing well when they have taken the time to make those plays happen.
Stolen by Schwartz. Chance here. Bounce shot. He missed it. And actually, it might have gone off the post, taking that side hop, but that was a bad turnover and forced Skramstad to go scrambling back into the net. As you see here, the bounce shot, Brown, and I'm not sure if we'll give Skramstad the save on that. Hard to see from that replay, but I think Skramstad might have gotten a piece of that. This is Robert Cruikshank, watched closely by Lamari Brown. He's already got a goal tonight. Cruikshank spinning off a couple defenders, loses the rock, but it's covered by his teammate, Mark Radke. Back to even strength, but Blaine will now just calmly take its time. Schwartz steps inside, drives the net. Skramstad makes a crazy stop. Wow. Sprawling makes a fantastic stop to deny Schwartz. Blaine still hoping to get one back. And every time SLPCR starts to clear, Blaine able to take it away on the ride. Another great move by Radke, and this time he doesn't miss. Mark Radke, goal number 10, moving to his right, and a big goal for Blaine. Do they retake the lead with 2 minutes and 29 seconds to go before half?
Yeah, that's exactly what the Bengals needed, like you said, before halftime, just to get the energy back up after having them come back and tie this game on them.
And again, that you pay when you take the stick and you do not take the body. That's what they always teach you as coaches. You gotta take the body, because the stick, it's easy to move the stick and just avoid the check, and then you're left flat-footed and I can just go right by you, right? Similar principles in terms of, and actually strategically, in terms of with boys lacrosse especially, they always taught you that the fundamentals and the principles strategically were very similar to basketball and soccer.
Yeah,
so
makes sense.
I'm sure having watched it a lot yourself, you can see the parallels. Ian Pollard wants to take a timeout to draw something up with his team with the ball at midfield, trailing 4-3 here, late second quarter. Is this, Blythe, where you try to get the ball in the stick of Henry Leff?
I would think it makes sense. I mean, there's something to think about too, is just how can you maybe find a player who also is a contributor, but maybe not that number one for you, thinking about what the Bengals are going to be thinking about as well. It's like, how do you make sure that it's going to be a player that's potentially left open, potentially not as highly thought of? But of course, if Henry Leff has it, he's probably going to be able to convert, even if they are thinking he might be the one.
Yeah. Left open or left open?
Yeah, exactly. That is the question of the evening.
That's right. I think Ian Pollard, part of the reason he took that timeout is so he could go ask the officials why they threw that penalty or called that penalty on Hazelwood, because you could see him out there out of the timeout as Alex Johnson and the two huddles. It's interesting when you watch lacrosse, you have two huddles basically, one defensive coordinator and one awesome offensive coordinator. There was sun today, we promise, but no sunset tonight. They robbed us of some beautiful B-roll because of the Canadian wildfires, creating the hazy skies above us here at Bengals Stadium. So Henry Leff and the boys trying to see what they can do out of the timeout. Good timeout by Pollard. I mean, you get 2 a quarter, so may as well use them and see if you can't draw something up. Bengals, meanwhile, would love to take this lead into halftime. And I have to feel like, hey, you know, we were in control of this game 3-0, but a 3-goal lead really in lacrosse is nothing if you can string together some goals. I mean, Blaine would know better than anyone. They just lost to Centennial in comeback fashion. They were up as much as 6-1, and then Centennial came back and pulled the upset, 8-7 in overtime. Here's Leff, sidearm shot, and he hits the net. I think he may have hit the post. It's hard to see. We'll have to see on a replay if Dickinson made the save. Timeout Blaine on the other end as we take a look at Henry Leff going sidearm. And this could have just been a really, really good save. You see Dickinson scrambling to go back in the net. And I think that was just a tremendous save by Dickinson. And you also had number 24, Colin Reynolds, right on the doorstep. So one way or another, whether that hit Reynolds or whether Dickinson made the sprawling save, it stayed out. And that, I mean, Coach Pollard and the Catbirds couldn't have asked for a better look than that.
Yeah, let's take a look at it again, gosh.
Yeah, I think it may have just hit, I don't know what, someone's helmet or something. It must have hit the helmet of Colin Reynolds because he's holding his head. We don't mean to laugh. We hope he's okay, but holy cow, that was just, that's Colin Reynolds using his head.
Yeah, yes. But I think it's crazy, too, when you're thinking about, again, we talk about the velocity, the speed sometimes that those balls were whipping in, and you can tell, obviously, he reached up towards his head after that came his way. And
well, I don't care if you're wearing a helmet. Even if you're wearing a helmet, you still feel that, you know. you still absolutely feel that pinging it, as we'll take one more look at it from our tremendous crew. And no one just stepped to left, just got his hands free, and it was net bound for sure. And if Reynolds had been standing straight up, that would have just gone right past him. But because he was sort of bent over, it just managed to hit his helmet and stay out. So unlucky for Leff and the Catbirds, and the Bengals go to work on offense with 1:50 left in the second quarter.
And you think about how much clock they'll try to use on this possession.
Schwark tries to feed Crookshank, kind of an ill-advised pass, and sure enough, it's turned over to Elijah Bowden. Bowden, pretty speedy. He's got to be careful, though. He's already been called for one ward. Not the biggest midfielder, but speedy. Finally, Ian Pollard decides to take a timeout. And they were about 2 seconds away, I think, from turning it over. Because much like basketball, of course, you have the 10-second, where you've got to get in the box in 10 seconds or less. And boy, that was close, very close.
Now another time to regroup, try to get on the same page, make something happen. Just that final less than a minute and a half.
So we've had, I think, more timeouts in the last minute and a half than we had the entire first couple quarters. We were cruising along, but and in the game really where there's only been a couple 30-second penalties, not much going on. But Spring Lake Park with the lone SLPCR with the lone EMO goal of the day. Otherwise, it's been kind of a game that's really kind of flown along. As the two teams break the huddle. Nice crowd on hand. Still sweatshirt weather, I'm afraid, here in Minnesota, despite it being May 18th.
It's weird how it's kind of bounced back and forth, like always, though, I guess I should say. But certainly had felt like maybe we had made it to the other side.
I know. You can never put your winter coat away too long, can you? It's just, you always got to have it, short of it being like mid-July.
Yeah.
So the Catbirds will try to clear and see if they can't get something to tie this game. Still lots of time with which to work. Cheaped forward, and wow, Dickinson blocks it. He was out, I think, guarding Hexham. Boy, what a chaotic series of events here in the last 2.5 minutes. Brown in there. Radke as well. Radke ends up coming away with it for Blaine. 1 minute to go before half. Crane spins inside. His shot hits Brown. Big check delivered as he let that one go by Ethan Ossie. Flag is down. So I think we're going to have our first unnecessary roughness 1 minute penalty, and that'll go the way of the Catbirds. They've committed 3 tonight. Blaine just the 1. And it is the 1 minute penalty variety, so
Number 10, illegal body check, 1 minute.
illegal body check is the call. So now can Blaine double its lead here with 42.6 seconds left?
Certainly Coach Johnson, I hope his guys could after that great start they had to this game.
Caden Parent, who had a really nice game the other night. Schwark takes the shot and nothing doing. And you know who's not out there, whose name we have not called? Blaine is missing Caden Bunis, the senior midfielder, the Aurora commit. He is not in the lineup tonight. I have not seen him out there, and he is an important figure there.
He's out, injured, I believe.
Yeah, so that's a blow. Ty Bunis was the leading scorer for this Blaine team last year. He's playing Division II in North Carolina somewhere. Of course, Caden's brother, and now Caden, a senior midfielder, and I thought they were missing somebody offensively, and so that's certainly been one of the reasons why they've been held down offensively. Nolan Hazelwood will just jog out the clock to retain possession as time expires here in the first half. An entertaining first half it was. Spring Lake Park, Coon Rapids battled back to tie it at 3 before a late Blaine goal makes it 4-3 at halftime. Back with highlights, analysis, and more in just a moment from Bengals Stadium here on North Metro TV.
Wash your hands. Scrub it while you sing this song. Wash. Rub your hands and fingers and the places in between. Using soap and water makes your hands so clean. Wash your hands. Great job, you're almost done. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, now dry.
Wash your hands for 20 seconds, just like Elmo.
Back here at Bengals Stadium, Bill Hupp and Blythe Whaley. 4-3 our score at halftime. As we take a look at our first half highlights here. And it started off spectacularly. Michael Aber winning the draw, and Robert Cruikshank, as a nice save was made there. And then Robert Cruikshank, the sophomore, opening the scoring with a pretty goal behind the back to start things off for Blaine just 2 minutes into this one. Bengals would add to their advantage and eventually go up 3-0. Tommy Scramstad having to make a number of saves in net for SLPCR. But then the Catbirds started to come back, led by Nolan Hazelwood and Henry Leff. And eventually, Blaine would take a lead with a late Mark Radke goal, and even getting their heads in the act to play defense late in the first half. And Blythe, we've had a real competitive game so far.
Yeah, certainly back and forth when you think of the scoring. Bengals getting up by 3, and then seeing the Catbirds make that comeback to tie it up. But the Bengals got back to their offensive ways, scoring that last one before the end of that first half. We'll see who gets off to the races. I mean, the Bengals got off in both of the first and the second quarter in that beginning to show that they were ready. They kind of let off a little bit to let them back into it.
Yeah, they did get off to a good start, but then, you know, you got to kind of keep it up. And I think the fact that the Bengals are missing Caden Bunis, who has a sling on and was introduced at halftime during senior night festivities. You see him in the background there, Caden Bunis. It's a big loss because he was one of their big scorers, 14 goals and 9 assists on the season. Going to Aurora next year with Henry Leff, but he is injured and unavailable, had an MRI today, and we'll see if he's ready for playoff action. Ball's in the stick of SLPCR. No face-off to start this second half as we're underway here in the third quarter. Big Nolan Hazelwood just jogging around, waiting for the penalty to expire, and it does. And here the Catbirds go on offense.
Alex Johnson telling me before the game, just really glad that they have the defense they do, since they have played together for some time. This is old hat for them playing together.
And that is so important, that kind of continuity, because it's all about communication for slides and whatnot. It's all about rotation. Much like basketball, the key to defensive success is how well can you rotate and rotate again and not lose players.
That's why in that first quarter, I wasn't sure if the Catbirds were going to be able to claw back into it like they did.
Bounce shot, missed the net by Dickinson. Ethan Osee putting pressure on the net. This is probably the longest we've seen, or one of the longest periods we've seen the Catbirds with the ball on offense.
That bodes well for what they were able to talk about for that halftime.
Oh, beautiful move by Nolan Hazelwood on the swim dodge. He draws a couple defenders, however. The slide's coming early. There's the flag as the long pole hit the helmet of Nolan Hazelwood, so he'll jog it out front. He's just such a load at 6'4". Hazelwood spinning the stick. A delayed penalty coming up. It'll be Blaine's second of the game, but a chance for SLPCR to get it and then have the penalty take effect. It's like hockey in that you have to have the other team touch the ball first. Beautiful effort to get to the front. Diving attempt by Osee, who's in the crease, however. And the whistle sends the Blaine defender to the box. And you see that's number 26, Igor Gonshin, the sophomore defender.
Bengal penalty, number 26, flashing 30 seconds.
Igor was a little bit too eager there defensively, and he got called for the penalty. PA guy can do jad jokes, so can we. Henry Leff. Catbirds have already scored once on the EMO tonight. We'll see if they can do it again and tie this game. They had a big comeback against Anoka earlier this season on the road to force overtime. Ultimately lost in the extra period, but jump shot there from Ryan Hexum, and the save made by Rylan Dickinson. So now Dickinson trying to get out of trouble. Bounding ball on the near side, swept in somehow. These ground ball battles can seemingly last forever. Shove from behind, dislodges the rock. Hazelwood flips it. And we've got a whistle and a push with possession. And I don't know about you, Blythe. I don't know if you can feel it. I'm closer to the open window, but boy, it feels like the temperature's dropped about 10 degrees as the wind has picked up here in Blaine. On the doorstep left, tried a little quick stick action. Couldn't get it to go. Dickinson shoved out of bounds along the end line. Great camera work by our crew. And it remains with the Catbirds. We're back to even strength as the penalty has expired. But it's still in the possession of the Catbirds. Oh, beautiful move by Nolan Hazelwood. Bounce shot. Dickinson goes down to make the stop. And now Blaine trying to get some possession. It's really been all Catbirds for the first 3 minutes and 15 seconds. And finally, Mark Radke gets it in the box for the Bengals, with Lamari Brown tailing him. Burnett spins away from trouble and now tries to regroup offensively for Blaine as they get the extra midfielder on. Burnett tries to split defenders, perhaps foolishly, and ultimately it comes to the stick of Jack Swadeback.
Yeah, Bengals not taking their time on that.
Oh, wow. Swadeback, sorry, Blythe. Swadeback tried to feed the goaltender. He wasn't there, and he nearly scored an own goal, which would be the first time I've seen that in a lacrosse game. Boy, very dangerous when you're playing it back to the goalie. Turnover here for Blaine. Long stick shot, and that goes wide. But, boy, they have just been, it's been no goals, but it's been a very active and hectic first half of the period. Caden Parent gets a step and scores for Blaine. First goal of the period, second straight for Blaine. And the Bengals double their lead. It's 5-3.
That goal was brought to you by Parent Custom Homes.
And we have sponsored goals in boys lacrosse now. Beautiful move by Parent. Got inside position on the defender and made him pay. Caden Parent on senior night scoring to make it 5-3 Blaine. We really haven't, it's been all individual efforts. We have not had an assisted goal yet. Parent right there scoring his 9th of the season to go along with 15 assists.
Yeah, awesome for him, like you said, just on senior night, that last regular season game at home, to be able to put one in.
Good face-off win right there by Brody Herzog, and the sophomore attackman gets possession for SLPCR.
Do you ever feel like there's the magic of senior night? I feel like the seniors really come out roaring. It helps so much. Everyone wanting it just that little bit more than they already did.
Yeah, I mean, there's something kind of bittersweet about, hey, this is the last game I'm going to play on this turf, you know, on this field. So, Ossie, very right-hand dominant player, gets it across for Hazelwood. Closed down really well, though, by the Blaine defense. And look how far he's been forced back. Hazelwood right near midfield, trying to attack from the top. The swim dodge not working. Does have a step, kind of just leans on Gonshin, but has it taken away. Transition here for the Bengals. Good recovery on the pass that was behind by Theris. Ossie wound up big time, nearly dislodged it from Theris, but he gets it behind. Opportunity here, and the shot into the breadbasket of Tommy Scramstad. 9th save of the game by Scramstad. It's been a ragged game at times in terms of the play, but very competitive one. As Lamari Brown reads that pass and knocks it down. Crookshank gets shoved from behind. And it's going to be Blaine ball.
Yeah, I think this quarter will be potentially a telling quarter of how the rest of this game is going to go. Who's going to respond?
Parent spinning away from defenders, doubled. Just flips it behind for Alex Crane. Crane watched by Lamari Brown. This is Crookshank. Oh, just absolutely gets blasted by Brown, the sophomore, and that was a clean hit. And the shot goes wide. Scramstad closest to it, so it turns over. And I love that if you just hustle after a shot and you're closest to it, but Lamari Brown, oof.
Yeah, head-on collision, it feels like, looking at that.
Yeah, just a freshman, but he laid the lumber to Crookshank. Now it's Elijah Bowden trying to get his way to the front of the net, and a nice job stripping him from behind by Caleb Schwartz.
Those are the plays the Bengals are going to continue to need to do to keep this lead as this game goes further. Big play for them, and this one even bigger.
Crookshank answers off a great feed from Crane. It was Crane to Crookshank, and the sophomore we highlighted in our open makes it 3 straight goals for Blaine, 2 in this quarter, his second of the game, and it's back to a 3-goal lead. And just a nice catch on a pass that was slightly behind him, but that was all it needed, and he got it off before he took the hit. Still took the hit and went tumbling to the turf, but Robert Crookshank hung in there after getting belted just a second ago, and he gets his second of the game. And you can see, Blythe, why he's piled up the numbers he has. 6-3 Blaine as we get late here in the third quarter. Bengals win another face-off. Burnett. Controlling up top. Aiden Litke had a goal in the first quarter, hasn't really had many chances since. Litke, sharp angle shot into the side of the net.
If that would have went in, you think about the difference that could have made, only because the Bengals right now, they know that, hey, they had 3 goals scored against them already. They got those 3 quick goals, and now, hey, put a 4th in. What does that do to help them even mentally down the stretch? Give themselves a little bit more wiggle room than what they just had and what they gave away.
Yeah, no question. Fish, not even close with that shot. That goes wide past the left post. Almost looked like maybe a pass, but Blaine was closest to it, so they retained possession. You almost rather have it be a shot just so they can keep possession. Ward is the call, so it goes back to the Catbirds. 10-man ride applied here. And Caden Parent takes it away. Parent already with 1 in the third quarter. Lamari Brown gets to him first, or that's swayed back rather. Now Parent battling for it along the end line with Brown there. And Crookshank as well, he'll come away with it on a hat trick. Crookshank and Left both with 2 goals apiece. And just a nice coincidence that those are the 2 players we highlighted in our open. It's so hard to be up in the press box and removed sort of from the on-the-field calls. But looks like it's going to be in the stick of the goaltender Scramstad, and he'll get it to Henry Leff. And a lot of times in lacrosse, it seems so reductivist to say it, but it's just get the ball in the stick of your best players and let them go to work. And Henry Leff certainly qualifies as that. Reynolds strips it from him, but Leff recovers, and now he's got a step. In the middle on the doorstep, big save made by Dickinson. Third stop of the game officially for Ryland Dickinson. The speed of Mark Radke. In the middle, Crookshank winds up and rips it high. Oh, he wanted that hat trick.
Yep, certainly had the speed, just not
Just not the accuracy. Yep. Parent backing down, turning, shooting. Nice save by Scramstad. Bounding ball eventually scooped up by Albert Anders Gilbertson. Tries to cheap it ahead looking for Schwark, but Brown reads it well. And here comes Lamari Brown in the open field. Lamari Brown looking to get to the net, feeds it down low, and they miss. Oh, Brown with a terrific big play him on the door. Big freshman attackman missed it.
I love the play up to that. Unfortunately, Birds not being able to execute it because you saw what it did to the one there in the second.
Oh my, as Dylan Hazel takes one up high, knocked his helmet off. He's actually okay, but that's the most obvious flag. You'll see Hazel just lowered his helmet, lowered his shoulder here. Look at that. Just his helmet off. And he connected to it quite a bit. Just
Certainly.
oh. Been and frustrated.
It's just a little.
Cross check, non-related. So this is where it gets interesting, folks. SLPCR will have an attacker, see, with the defenseman on the mention, and two releasable in there for the next. No matter how many goals SLPCR score, all these in Lacrosse. Once you score a goal, the guy gets out and it's even strength. Not in this case. They thought it was a severe enough penalty. There's a shot. Ethan Ossie. Chance right here. Scored in the third. The next 2 minutes with an extra man. Oh.
Now Coach Alex Johnson really going to be trying to rest his thoughts. Tighten it, defense, able to pull, keep them.
And that was something LPCR did not turn the ball. So now, in your trusted stick hand, SLPCR is going to try the ball and get it away. Right, turn it over. Blaine glitter in the hazy stadium light. Ossie at the gives it far side for Hazel. I think you'd really want to get to left rather, as much as you could try. Here has it right here with less to go. Leads in front. Net. Another chance. Easton, the junior, right on the doorstep. Left to re-enter. 5 seconds. Johnson got in. He missed the net. Couldn't tell whether Dickinson got it or not, but the come as you'll see here. Oh, this is great. And look at this opportunity here for how he missed. Now the flag comes down. It's right there. So now I think on Robertson defender, and so Blaine has a on receiver. We'll get all holes out. 2 new players come on, and with 25 seconds left in the third, and then you might see the just onto it to start the fourth quarter.
1 minute.
Hazelwood has it. Hazelwood takes or just tries to hold it. Left back for Hazelwood. Ossie. Score! Ossie gets it forward for the Cards, scoring with 16 seconds, or 18.8, I should say, remaining in the third quarter. Gets one back here in the third, and still the extra next minute and a half.
Exactly the break to break into this here in the third. You saw them get one in that second period, or in the second quarter, and it just broke. How many more they were able to tie? Got that one to start, and we'll see what happens because they get a goal in this opportunity.
Goal for 12. Rylan Dickens away. Now it's the Bengals' turn. Possess back in a couple. It was a third quarter. Okay, Bengals for the first. SLPCR takes one back, and they've still got the man advantage as we start the fourth quarter here in Blaine. 6 Red Stadium.
The COVID-19 can hands to get back hands to get to each other, to life. But it's okay to have questions like, can the vaccines give you COVID-19? Not give COVID-19 from a vaccine. Finally, answer.
Hi everyone, Al. As a guy with Hokies only said
prevent wild.
There's all parched or windy. Got to be extra. Waste. Wildfires can start where, even in the woods. .com. Learn more about wildfire prevention.
Back here at Bengals Stadium, start of the fourth quarter. Bill Hupp and Blythe Whaley, our entire terrific North Metro TV. Blythe will have interviews down in the field, no matter which team wins. And got one quarter decided, or twice third quarter to reach 3 goals. Non-renewal. The end of the led a goal. An OC SLPCR will have start, but PCR will still have the advantage for another so. Again, this is Shepherd's really want to take advantage. Carvin fine under Radke in the open. Radke gets big save by Scram. He's him the door. Got a penalty flag though. Save by Grant. The 11 14 seconds fourth quarter. As there was the contact which drew Ramstad. Absolutely, you see the Radke gunning second to be in the of the far side.
Yeah, think about the Bengals on quarter because they've been able to score throughout the game. We've seen gain that momentum early, getting a goal just like they stopped.
Crook. Parent. Back up for Crookshank. The shot hits the. Oh, he hit the right post. Trying his third goal. Doing the high that he's on now. Crookshank with 21 on the season in what has been a breakout campaign. Ball turned over to Blaine. As now it's Blaine's turn. Oh. the top. Gets pinned with Carolina blue head stick. Or rather, as it lodged from behind. Good recovery by Radke. Brown has instinct seemingly for when to come and pressure and then when to go back. Crookshake missed everything. It is a shot. Closest to it was Crane. 6-4 early. Looking to improve 505 and 5 well.
Double as well. Tick some clock in the fourth, and so this is fine time you're seeing on clock, and it's gonna give it that harder possibility of them making back. Of course, put goals quickly together, and it will still Bill, but
flat on near the field. Be sure what it's for. But the ball will go back to SLPCR as we Radke on the box. So now it's a one-goal game. Cross for Hazelwood. He winds up his shot. Number 26 penalty for the blue. Behind it, X already goals tonight. Hazelwood, very patient. Oh. Slings it cross corner for who has to track it down in the corner. This is Hazelwood. Goes across some. Tried to force it really to Herzog, and it's intercepted by the speedy Harris. I'm to say this Russell Terry. The long mini junior to a 3-goal lead. Wound up, no one closed down. Brown was closest. Pout shot was perfectly aimed. Scramstad went down. Unbelievable. Long pole for sure. And starting to very hard here as we everything. But Colin, big goal for to increase back to 3.
think about all the too. It's going to start to work out. Possibly going to be dealing with some slick conditions if we get enough of it before this one is over.
He's playing Lacrosse. So need a cut. Got rid of it. Flag. Remember when I said we didn't have any penalties for the first quarter and a half? Well, they're starting to pile up now. That was a nice effort by Schnabel, but was not behind, and it's a push. He's starting to increase each is steadily falling here, and the crowds have noticeably thinned. Penalty on Anders Gilbert. Anders Gilbert and Gonshin have each knelt in tonight.
The term farewell, their fans.
Pardon that, Jake Robinson actually that's earned the. And again, a chance for Catbirds with 8 minutes left. they turn it over.
I mean, I think the thing for me is on a lot of these, lately, even though they were still taking their time. You know, it didn't quite work out for them the way they would have hoped, but they weren't rushing and work. If
Rush things too much, and we'll try to retain possession, and probably a good one. First time out of the second half by my recollection. Tommy Scramstad has been really good at day 12. He's unofficial despite giving up 7 goals. And I think it's going to be one of those showers that comes in, hits hard for about 2 minutes, and then goes away.
It's hard to tell. I bet.
Fingers crossed anyway, it's dry for your post-game interviews.
I know, right?
I can't. 4-hour score with 3 to go. Win move the Bengals to 500. Final home on senior night. Loss for SLPCR to 7 conference 9 over. But like we said, both these teams really graduated some really notable in college. Lost a lot and rather young. We'll see if they can improve, like they might.
I'm going to say a quick appreciation to our people outside, especially taking on right now.
Yes, they definitely have wet or thanks to their work. Could not do this broadcast without you. Trust me, I've broadcast sports myself before. It's not as fun as when you replay and opens and all that jazz. Caleb will play. Chrome.
I mean, something. A little snazzy.
They are quite.
I'm someone who would probably have Chrome things, so.
Yeah. Dig them. I worked with the father of the Maple Grove coach. Pretty sweet gold helmets.
Oh, yeah.
Apparently, they're a new uniform coach. They unveil them to the kids. The kids just.
That'd be awesome.
Catch and track shot doesn't get off. Is up. Who is playing the long pole, but Henry left in those orange shoes. So and switch left. Normally playing long poles. Offensive stick, and he'll, I would think, back. He gets a quick breather. Yeah, that shot is clear. Remaining. Island Dick on an outlet. Bengals in transition. Down, big save. Instead, that either post from point. Either way, goes out of bounds on the far along. No idea what's happening on the broadcast. It sounds chaotic. Ray Brown position to the front, and it goes in. Brown is first. Tommy Scranton other side. And those pole. It was initially saved by Riley and over the line. Unbelievable. The freshman Lamari Brown gives his team life. 6-0 play.
Yep, this goal was cap and bigger coming from a guy who scored this and just electrified maybe.
Just tricked inside the post and it made the save, but then it was. So Lamari Brown makes 7 Blaine. There's plenty of time left. 6 minutes and a especially with the draw. Birds just.
As I was mentioning, just it can, especially just behind and have has it's you too of just so you're for your team and work for in fourth.
Wood trying to now gets a offense. Really goal for Dickinson. Dickinson is stopped right, and they turn it over in transition. Momentarily, anyway. Great job, though. Robinson just taken away from loose ball. Finally by Lamari Brown.
Bill, that the Blaine they have right now.
Well, you know who they're missing right now? Instance is
Exactly.
Eunice. Eunice would have things down, much like as midfielder. Eunice would have settled things down. He would have brought it to X, and he would have gotten Blaine set. But right now, it's just a ground ball fest, and neither team seemingly possess. Nolan Wood, who's rock for much of the night, surrounded by 3 Blaine Bengals, looking for a flag, doesn't get one, and now we're down to 4.5 minutes to go here at Bengals Stadium. And it's still a 7-5 game. Not going to say the O word, but very much. Side out of the Robinson. Advance it in. How many 10-second calls have, because guys are just too casual. It's here for, he scores! Freshman Heckman, number 8. And all of a sudden, it's a 1-goal game with 4:11.
Wow, what a difference you've seen in the Catbirds. It seems like once they get net in the quarter, it helps them forward to get another. You see it happen again, fourth. And you think, not much time on the clock, only down. This possibly has given them that new life that they need.
Massive stuff coming up here. Aber really needs to shine for the Bengals. This is where he could really, and an just forward. Dickinson out of his crease to scoop it up for the Bengals. Now he'll try to get it to Gonchin. This is where they've been a little too indecisive on the clear. The pass is blocked down. Dickinson will bucket near side. Wood over. Jake Robinson trying to collect it, but at this point, Blaine's going to get a 10-second call, and they do. But not before they get him out. Great play by Alex Johnson. A desperate timeout called as Jake Robinson was trapped, and the 10-second clock just about to run out. Johnson takes a timeout, tries to settle things down, and now they've got to get an effective clearance, only leading by a with 3:43 left. Messages those huddles.
Goodness, I think again for the Bengals, it's really to calm down. You have to settle it. You think about this swing can do in on your heels. You start playing frantic and kind of forgetting the confidence that you brought into this game to be in the lead in the first place. And I think right now it would be for them to just be, of course, in the game. Not much time. Have to now only have a 1-goal lead. You've been leading by a few goals recently. It's tough. It's definitely tough. But as far as the Catbirds, I mean, you just get to come from behind. It feels so much better when you're coming from behind. You got nothing to lose. You're just throwing everything at it to try to get that goal. You know the on the clock, and your guys are up in the first, being down a few, just and picking things up around, not having a goal. You just, wow. Good.
Yeah, lot here. As we said, Blaine, their final regular season game tonight. They've got some tough ones coming up at Woodbury, at Eden Prairie, part of a brutal 3-game schedule finishing run on the road. Most of those exception of the game, two of the non-conference games. So they act on their non-conference games at the end of the season. And, trying to hang on here tonight and improve to 500 before they have to go on that 3-game road swing season. But they'll be pretty battle for section play. That's the one kind of bright spot. Both these teams, incidentally, in section play had their seasons ended by Chisago Lakes last year. Blaine in the quarterfinals and Spring Lake Park, Coon Rapids in the semifinals. Bengals with Mark Radke cradling. They're going to have to keep it in the box as they protect a 1-goal lead. A little bit of lack of focus as they lose the rock. Just a simple pass, and here come the Catbirds. Transition. This is where they've scored a lot tonight, as Nolan Hazelwood, always the guy they seem to want to get it to. He gets a touch, and now they'll try to regroup. Henry Left coming from the box. You know that's who they want to get the ball. He's got 2 already tonight. Left with 21 on the season, dodges down the alley. Evades another defender, skips behind to X. Feet on the doorstep for Herzog, and his shot, not much on it, and the comfortable save made by the netminder Dickinson. And he uses that crease, which obviously no one can go in except him, to his advantage. So now Blaine trying to clear it into the stick of Cruikshank, and he gets away from Lamari Brown and gets a touch. 7-6 our score, 2-12 and counting in the fourth quarter. Rob Cruikshank goals tonight. Radke's been playing really well. And they're gonna have to double the ball pretty soon if they want to get it back. He uses the screen and he scores, coming out front from X. Radke makes it 8-6 with his second of the game.
Sometimes the best defense is that good offense to bring it down, put another one, give yourself even more wiggle room with time winding down. That's big for the Bengals to now be up by 2.
As you see the screen set, Aaron, he just around and picked out the upper corner and scrams over his shoulder. And that is a huge extra goal, an insurance goal, if you will, to make it 8-6. And now the false start gives the rock to Blaine, and Russell Theris will put his head down and sprint into the box to get a touch, and then immediately turn it over. But that cushion just makes all the difference. Turned over, flip back to Dickinson in the Dickinson will be content around and waste some time. At 1.5 minutes to go. Jake Robinson will wisely go back behind to X and Alex Crane. This is where having seniors, really just a junior, but a little too casual with it, and they turn it over. One minute left in the game. Free and back over to Blaine. All right, so 30 seconds remaining, 44.8 technically. One more push. .6 seconds left. Our Blythe Whaley will have post-game interviews with 2 members of the victorious team as a timeout is taken on the field. You see the defensive coordinator for the offensive coordinator for SLPCR, talking things over. It was taken by the Catbirds as they trail by 2 goals with under 30 seconds to go. See if we can pull up some scores from around the area tonight in other lacrosse games. Duluth leading White Bear Lake in a good one, 13-12. Edina in overtime took down Wayzata in a big Section 5 matchup, 8-7. Eden Prairie defeated St. Michael Albertville 9-8. Centennial with a 12-7 win yesterday over Totino Grace. Maple Grove took down Rogers 14-4 as the wind is whipping up here tonight. Robbinsdale Armstrong bounced back from their loss to Maple Grove, defeating Andover 17-7. That's a good Robbinsdale Armstrong team. So a lot of good scores, interesting scores. Woodbury, it's the team Blaine will play next, beating Roseville 13-4. So that's going to be a tough game for the Bengals. That's why the victory here tonight is all the more critical. Nolan Hazelwood and the Catbirds have to go quickly here with 28 seconds left. They give it to Left, jump shot, bounce, and he missed the net. Good play out of the timeout. Hazelwood finding Left, but he missed. Left sitting on a hat trick as well. 18 seconds left. Left battling for possession and will remain in his stick, watched by Theris with 15 seconds to go. Hazelwood spins away from pressure, stripped from behind. Beautifully done by Colin Reynolds, who's got a goal tonight and a huge turnover forced. 3 seconds, 2. He chucks it toward the net. That's it. The horn sounds, and the Blaine Bengals win on senior night over SLPCR 8-6. They score 2 goals in the 4th and hang on to defeat the Catbirds by a final of 8-6. Back in a moment with Blythe Whaley interviews down in the field from Bengals Stadium. Again, the final here tonight. It's Blaine 8, SLP Coon Rapids 6. Back in a second here on North Metro TV. Back here at Bengals Stadium in Blaine after the Blaine Bengals on senior night defeat the SLP Coon Rapids Catbirds by a final of 8-6. And our Blaine Whaley is down on the field with two members of the victorious Bengals.
Yeah, alongside me is Robert and Caden, and we're going to start with you, Robert. Just a sophomore on this team, but very impactful this season, leading your team in goals and getting some tonight. What does it mean to you to be able to have an impact as an underclassman?
It's nice. I like to help out, try to get as many assists as I can, but if I have to score, I'll score.
Yeah. And in a game like today, of course, your team being able to get up by a few goals, but having the Catbirds make a comeback and tie things up, what was going through your head as that happened, and how did you know how to pull it out?
I just thought we have to keep the ball out of the defensive zone. We got to get it into our offensive zone. We got to move the ball around better.
Scoring for your Bengals, number 8.
And on the times when it was working for you guys, you were able to find the back of the net. What was working? What do you think you guys were doing that was making it happen?
We were moving the ball around good. We were pulling out their weaknesses and using them against them.
Yeah. And the last thing I want to touch on is, of course, tonight was senior night. And, of course, you have a bunch of seniors. What does it mean to you to be able to play with them here on the home turf for the last regular season game?
It's nice. I'm going to miss most of them. It sucks that Caden couldn't play, Bunez, but it felt great.
Yeah. Well, appreciate your time. Awesome job getting those couple goals in to help your team finish it off tonight.
Thank you.
We're going to step over here, talk to Caden Parent. We touched on senior night, that last regular season home game. And, of course, does it feel real yet?
Yeah, it was definitely an experience. It definitely goes by fast. We really, the games go by fast, practices. It just runs down to the end of the season quick. But it was a fun night. We really came together and came out with the win, so it was really a good experience.
And I talked in the broadcast about just the magic of senior night. Did you feel some of that magic when you were able to put that ball in the back of the net?
Yeah, it was, we had the halftime and we came back out after talking to our parents and stuff, and there was a little more energy with us. We got to control the ball more and got in our sticks more, and yeah, it definitely helped, and you could really feel the energy there for senior night.
Now, being a senior, do you kind of feel that you've emulated some senior leadership? You've been able to do a great job assisting some of your teammates throughout the season. What does it mean to you to be that leader on this team?
It means a lot, to really help, because we got a pretty young team. We got a couple sophomores, as you can see, and young team. So it's really helping just to assist and get those players going for the coming years and to help them out as much as possible.
Now, of course, as we touch back into this game that we just witnessed, you guys only up by a goal, not too much time on the clock. How did you help your team settle in and finish this one out?
Yeah, we definitely second and third quarter, we didn't have the ball as much, took some penalties, but I really feel we didn't deviate from our structure, and we definitely stayed composed and just got back to our game. We never really started doing our own thing. We just stuck to our structure and got it done.
Well, great job tonight helping your Bengals get that victory at home. And, of course, happy senior night.
Thank you.
Well, you guys, that does it here from Bengals Stadium. The Bengals get the victory on their last regular season home game. You guys, on behalf of my director, Ted LaRue, and my entire phenomenal North Metro TV crew, I'm Blaine Whaley saying, see you later, guys. Thanks, Bill, for the fun night broadcasting.